Resistance is futile.
Alright, so, what's up guys? Figured I would do it myself, since, we're having some difficulties recording stuff, right? But I still wanted to do a guide to resisting boredom this week, considering that the Wolverine comes out this weekend, and, there's a lot of stuff. Right? I mean, Wolverine as a character has been around for, decades. So, anyways, there's a ton of things that I could tell you about. I just wanted to highlight some of the things. Now, if you are a huge Wolverine fan, yeah, a lot of this stuff you probably know about, but, this is for other people, that maybe don't know some of the great Wolverine stuff. They just probably know him from the movies and maybe a cartoon here and there or whatever. So anyways, I want to go over a bunch of stuff relating to Wolverine that will help you for this weekend. If you like the movie, it has like a 72%, the new movie, The Wolverine. It has like a 72% tomato rating at this point when I'm filming this. So, it's supposed to be really good. So hopefully, once we see it, I'm sure we'll do a review. But however, until then, I can only speculate, right? So, hopefully it's great, and if it is, there might be some more Wolverine stuff that you want to check out. So I just figured I would let you know what some of those things were. So, first and foremost, the thing I have to mention, of course, right here, the Japanese story arc, the Chris Claremont and Frank Miller done comic arc. It's great. It's very old school comics, so, expect that kind of art style, and it's weird how it's something they kind of, I guess, used to do more, but they didn't plan on things being in trade paperbacks, so they start almost every issue explaining who Wolverine is a little bit, and whatever, that can get kind of redundant, especially when you're reading it in a collection, but still, definitely worth your read, and just based on the trailers, I can tell you that there seems to be several scenes kind of adapted from that and put into the new movie. So, I will go over this more, I'm sure, when we review it, but, without seeing the movie, I would say that this is probably, and obviously, is the most, influential thing that they looked at when making the new movie. So, yeah, definitely read that. It's great. Other comics that you might want to check out, some highlights, right, of Wolverine. Old Man Logan, I have this in a bag and board, so sorry if it glares or has weird things. But anyways, it's written by Mark Miller, it's Steve McNiven? Yeah, Steve McNiven, and it's basically Wolverine far in the future, kind of a post-apocalyptic thing, and it's basically, yeah, it's called Old Man Logan. I'm pretty sure you figured out that it's when he's old. But anyways, it's great, it's kind of over-the-top crazy, but in a fantastic way. There are tons of, cameos and things from elsewhere in the Marvel Universe, right? So, there's like some Hulk stuff in there, some Venom stuff, some Hawkeye, all those kinds of things. Great stuff, right? It's a very popular book, you may have heard of it, but if not, Old Man Logan, definitely check it out. And yes, that's the same Mark Miller who wrote, Kick-Ass and damn it, I suck at this. He wrote Kick-Ass, he wrote Superman Red Son, he wrote a bunch of great stuff. So, there you go. Next, I will mention a couple things. Basically, there are a ton of Wolverine comics out there. Obviously, I haven't read them all. In fact, I haven't really been reading comics that much lately, but I can tell you a couple things. When looking for a Wolverine comic to read that isn't those two that I just mentioned. Number one, look for it to be written by Jason Aaron. Alright, Jason Aaron knows how to write Wolverine. He, I think he got his job by winning a writing contest from Marvel, and he wrote a Wolverine story. So, if that's how you get your job, is by showing them an example of writing Wolverine, chances are you know what you're doing when it comes to it. But Jason Aaron is a great writer. Just about anything he writes, you'll be safe picking up. Alright, but anyways, Wolverine stuff's great. Second of all, if you want a little more X-Men stuff, this is also Jason Aaron, but if you want a little more X-Men thrown in, maybe a little lighter tone than, your typical gruff and, violent and whatever. I mean, not that it won't be violent, but still, Wolverine and the X-Men is what I'm trying to say, alright? Still Jason Aaron, but this time it's Wolverine kind of leading his own group of X-Men. This comes from the X-Men kind of splitting up in comics into two, basically, groups or whatever. So anyways, this is Wolverine's group. So yes, you'll get tons of Wolverine in here, but you'll also get some other X-Men and things going on. Yeah, good stuff. Alright. Plus, The Chris Pacello art is fantastic. So, that's for comics. So, if you were thinking this was a little too nerdy up to this point, well, guess what? It ain't gonna change. So anyways, moving on to things you can watch and all that kind of stuff. I would recommend that you try to find the original 90s X-Men. You can get these on DVD, obviously, since I'm holding it. So, find it in some way. This is the 90s cartoon. This is what I grew up watching. This is what I'm sure a lot of you grew up watching. It's still great. It holds up. It's one of those comics, or one of those cartoons that holds up, right? Maybe not as well as Batman the Animated Series, probably the greatest animated series of all time, but at least one of them. But anyways, the original 90s X-Men cartoon, great stuff. Kind of the Netflix segment of the viewing, right? You have Hulk versus. I know, this is a Hulk movie, right? Or animated movie, if you want to call it that. Actually, there's two parts to this. What I'm recommending here is the Hulk versus Wolverine part, okay? This is not the first time Hulk has fought Wolverine. In the comics, he's fought him all the time. This is the moment, I'm sure, when I will pull up the Damon Lindelof and Lionel Yu comic scene where he's ripping him in half. So, you're probably seeing that on the screen right now. But anyways, Hulk versus has a great story where he's fighting Wolverine. It has kind of a more classic style Wolverine for parts of it, and also has Deadpool in it. So, you have that. So, right there, it's a win. So, it's great stuff. You can find that on Netflix. You can also find Wolverine and the X-Men, not really based on that comic, but the cartoon that came out a few years ago, it's pretty good. So, if you're on Netflix, want something to watch, maybe you already watched Hulk vs., want to see some more Wolverine, it's solid. Alright, so you can definitely watch Wolverine and the X-Men on Netflix, the cartoon, or whatever. But know that it didn't stick around, so I don't know how much they got on there, but I don't remember if it really ends much. So, anyways, yeah, that's all my props. Anyways, video games, right? We always do a bunch of stuff. Video games. I can recommend stuff, right? I would not recommend things like X-Men Destiny, because that game's supposed to be terrible. So don't play that. However, the X-Men Origins Wolverine, yes, I know, that was a terrible movie. On our show, we make fun of that movie all the time and talk about how bad it is. However, there is a game that Raven Software made, from Wisconsin, of course. Raven Software made, that was based around the movie for when it came out, and it's great. Alright, I don't have it to show you because I beat it twice, so made it through, did all the stuff, and didn't really feel like playing anymore, so I traded it in. However, it's still a great game, and I would fully recommend everyone play it because it's a ton of fun, and it was the shining thing we got out of Wolverine Origins X-Men. That crappy movie was a great game. So if you want to play a game as Wolverine and have a good time and slice people up and have all sorts of fun, definitely play that. So anyways, I think that's pretty much all I got for you this week. We will continue to try to do this. You know, if we don't do it as a group, maybe I'll do it on my own again. But anyways, I wanted to give you guys some things to check out if you were high on watching Wolverine this weekend, or whenever you watch this, if you wanted to check out more Wolverine stuff. So, I hope you found this informative. I hope this gave you some ideas for some stuff to check out. And, yeah, see you next time.